Hey everyone, Allison Orthner here today with Creative Scrapbooker Magazine and showing you the new Art Impressions Bible journaling watercolor sets that they have come out with recently, and they are so much fun. And for those of you that do Bible journaling, you know that we have special Bibles that have a lot of space on the side. Some have 2-inch columns. There's also new Bibles out that I have my own of as well, called an interleaved, where entire page is blank. So it just gives us the opportunity to add in some beautiful artwork to kind of match what we're learning as we're studying our Bibles. This one is the My Fortress set. And again, all of them are designed, you can see the stamps in the back, designed to fit into your column to be able to add your art that way. Little Good Shepherd with some cute little lambs. This one is a Light to My Path set. And they always give you little ideas too of some of the different Bible verses and passages that you can use the different stamps on. This one is the Gates of Righteousness, and today we're going to play with this one called the Living Water set, and you can see there's a beautiful well there. They also even have some alphas that if you want to create your own word, so for example this one you can see the word hope there, which again would be really good. You can either turn it sideways in your column Bible, or if you have the interleaved one with the blank page, you can use that well on that as well. All right, so the way this system works is you can use any of these base sets with the foliage and the flower set. So these two sets are quite essential to create the look of all of these with the extra foliage and the flowers around the gate and around the well. So I'm going to use some from both the Bible flower set and the Bible foliage set, and use that in order to create this exact same picture here. I'm going to try to replicate this of the Living Water set. And what we're going to use are the Art Impressions watercolor pens with this. Now, in order to do the base, they suggest doing a double layer of, this one is African Violet, and this one is Sepia. So in order to use these, you basically take the brush side here, and then you kind of sideways brush over your stamp to add the ink, making sure you've got all the lines covered there. Next, I'm using the African Violet and layering it on top. All right, now I am stamping in Isaiah 49, and I think I will put my well right about here. There we go. Now, because we are doing a watercolor effect and we're going to add some water to this image, what I have done is I have gessoed my Bible page with a clear gesso, because I'm also going to bring some of the color over here, because I want to kind of surround the verse that I've chosen to use. And it talks about, they shall not hunger or thirst, neither scorching wind nor sun shall strike them, for he who has pity on them will lead them by springs of water, will guide them. So this is a well, so I thought that was a nice complement to that passage. But even this side over here is covered in gesso. Okay, so now that I've got my stamped image, you can see how delicate these lines are. And what I want to do is just take and dip my brush. It's a very thin brush. This is also from Art Impressions. And then I want to take my fingers and I want to pull most of the water off, just leaving it a little damp. And then I'm going to just go along these lines. You see how the water just activates it a little bit there to pull the color out of the line. And you just follow along all of these lines that you've now stamped. So now that we have pulled some color out of those lines, the next thing we're going to do is add the foliage and the flowers. So again, I've picked out some leaves, some grass, some flowers, and then a tiny little bird because I love birds. What you do with these now is the same thing. You take your color pen and using the side, you just add ink, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you want to add another little extra color, again, you can layer it. So I'm just tossing a little bit of green on here. And then you take this and you stamp it. And the key is to stamp 3, 4, 5 times, just sort of in different directions that way. And what it does is it gets lighter each time, but it also adds a little bit of dimension. So I'm gonna do that again in a few. All right, I'm going to stop there with that, and I'm going to now activate the color. So again, taking my paintbrush and dipping it in water, and then you want to pull out, pinch off most of the water so it's just a little bit damp. Now you go back in where you have done your greenery, and you can see I'm just dabbing, dab, 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 and it kind of activates the color that was laid down there. So now I'm going to take, I've got a single stem flower. I'm going to take a pink. Well, it's called iris purple, but it's pink to me. And I'm going to put that just on the end where the flower is. And then I'm going to use my pine green to do the stem. So this is a double color on here. And we'll add some, and again, you want to stamp it a few times, move it around a bit. Add my little bird in there. I'm just going to use the little sepia brown and add him on the ground. There you go. And you know what? He didn't quite get, so I'm going to take the thin side of my pen and I'm just going to draw the rest of his head in there. Just do a little bit of activating around him. Now for the background, what we want to do is take a palette, and this is also by Art Impressions, and then I'm going to add a little bit of blue. This is called steel blue, but I am going to color it like this on the palette, and then take a little bit of a thicker paintbrush, dip it in the water, and now pull up some of the color like this. I'm going to add this now onto the wood part here. Just add some shadowing and shading and kind of play with it. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of green. So there you can kind of see, and you can obviously just keep playing and adding color and stuff. The last thing I'm going to do is just define a little bit this handle and the rope that is around here. And if you'd like things more defined like that, then you can, you know, either reactivate it, or you can even use the fine tip to go over and define some of the lines again. It's just, you know what, it's kind of a nice relaxing, it's almost like you're coloring and painting, but you don't have to think so much about it. You just follow the lines. So it's like a paint the lines kind of a project. So don't be intimidated by it. It's super easy, and as you can see, you can create whatever scene using whatever colors that you want. And I also just wanted to show you, because I did use this exact same stamp. This is on watercolor paper. There's the bumpy side, and then this is the smooth side, but you get to see the difference in what it looks like on different papers. And I think these sets of stamps would just be lovely to make cards for people or bookmarks or anything like that. But you can use them in your Bibles as well, like I have done here today. So I'm going to take some time to think about what I want to journal in here, because I always like to include a big part of my heart in my art. But that shows you how to use these art impression Bible journaling stamps. And the possibilities are endless creating your own scenes, and I love it. Thanks for watching.